first coat of poly on this last week. Got a little bit of shine to it. Nothing crazy, but pretty good. So it really doesn't feel too bad. There's a few areas, I guess, that's got a little bit of a few areas that have a little bit of a, what's it called, sandpapery type feeling. But what you're going to do is you're going to go over today with that's quadruple lots, and it's 4-0 steel wool. That's very fine. Just going to lightly go over it. So it puts in some light scratches. Going to take off that little bit of sandpapery type feeling that you might have. We're going to take that out. The one other thing that I forgot to do in the last video here is we forgot to get these outside holes, which isn't the end of the world since we only have one coat of poly on. We're going to bang those out as well here after we go ahead and steel wool it. So we'll get those filled in after we steel wool it. We'll put on another coat of poly. So I'm going to cut out. I'm going to let you kind of start you can start steel wooling it, and then we'll wind up cutting out a bit. And let you fill that stuff in and cut back in, and we're getting ready to put some more poly on here in a little bit. Nice and easy. A lot of times with the steel wool too, I'll take it like in here. Just go nice and easy and light. Yeah, less is more. See how nice and light we're going? Because remember, if we keep going too hard, oh, that feels really good. Yeah. If you keep going too hard, you're going to keep taking some of that poly off. So every time we do it, we take a little bit off, which is why we kind of want to go a little bit light on it. Obviously, we will blow it off as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab those color and crayons for you while you're finishing that there. What I like to do once you think you got it all, you'll kind of go over it, a nice little feel. Obviously we'll have to blow it out towards the end. You know what, why don't you go ahead and blow it out right now, and that way you can good thing we caught it before we had 10 foot of poly on it. Yeah.
this one right here to use a set as I rub it in. Got it. Here we go.
A few spots that really. Poly's not super light, you can tell, because we're still rubbing out some of the little color kind of done, and that's fine because we're going to go over it so many times. Obviously, with the first coat, I'm sure that we probably got somewhere around 70 or 80% of the project with some sort of polyurethane on it.
Yeah.
Our goal is, on these here, since the poly stand, I want to go for at least 6 coats, probably more. You know, once we really start breaking into that 4th, 5th coat, it really starts adding some shine to it. And at that point there, you guys kind of just want to keep on going. But right now, you're like, a couple of coats is fine. But you get towards that end, and you're like, oh, it's really starting to add some depth to it. It's really nice.
Like when you first put it on, it looks so good.
Sure, and over time,
that's like what the end result should look like.
So right, I mean, it does look shiny, but you got to remember the more coats that you put on, the more depth you're going to get. So because you're actually going to be able to like see down through. It's like if you're out fishing in the Gulf Stream, it's super clear, and you kind of just see on down through it. When the water's really cold, like in a pond or a lake, early in the season where there's really no algae or anything growing, you can kind of see like super far down. It's the same thing, it's just that depth that it adds. Put a little bit more on that too. We just don't want to put on the project so thick that it's absolutely positively everywhere. And you got to remember, it is going to darken the project a smidgen. It's going to add a little bit of amber to it, which will look really nice.
That's what I was hoping for with the oil, because I didn't want to stain it, because I didn't want to take away from the natural color.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be a little darker.
Yeah. Amberish tints is usually where the wood kind of is anyways, unless it's a black piece of wood,
like an ebony.
Yeah, ebony or black walnut or roasted poplar.
Some breeds of hickory, right?
No,
not quite black. Dark.
Yeah, I would say dark.
Not a huge fan of the dark woods.
Different strokes for different folks. Everybody's got a different thing that they like.
What's your preferred, darker or lighter?
I go with red oak a lot because it's a little bit of a reddish type tint, amberish type tint. Yeah, it's got a lot of depth to it. The cherry looks really sharp. I mean, the cherry looks more elegant, or the oak looks more rustic, or countryish, I guess. Where the cherry is very formal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looks fancy. Looks like it belongs, in a high-end home.
That's why it looks so good is its tabletops.
Oh, it looks really nice, yeah. Like this beach right here. The beach is cheap.
But it looks nice.
It looks very nice.
Especially this bottom piece.
Yeah,
right
it's
here.
good utility grade. I happen to like it. The beach. I bought it on dumb luck one day because the price that the man sales yard gave me. I said, well, I'll try a bunch of it for that price. And
looks like the wood stocks are pretty good too.
started using it. Kind of kept rolling with it. It's got a really weird grain, which is kind of neat.
Why don't you pause this?
Say it again.
Like this,
So why don't you turn it off?
Keep rubbing that on there, Jason. We'll probably cut in here in a few minutes. We'll double check it. That way we're not videotaping you, just doing the whole thing here. Cut back in a few. All right, so today we're going to be working on, I believe this is coat number 3. And it looks like it's starting to build a little bit of shine finally. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, you're going to go over with the steel wool. When I do the steel wool, remember, I like to start at the bottom and I work my way over absolutely everything, kind of working my way this way so we get it all. At the very end, go over it. Before we start videotaping, there was a little bit down here. Fellas, like you got that. There might be a smidge in here. This is feeling pretty darn good. Same thing, a little bit up in these corners. Corners are the real tricky spots to get. Looks like you got a little bit in these areas here. Remember that in order to get a good poly job, get a good prep job going into it. And did I say this is coat number 3? Is that what we're on?
Yep.
So you got to remember that we're a third of the way to our minimum right now, and they're looking pretty good. So feeling pretty positive about the way these are going to turn out. Remember to double check these before we put on that light coat of poly. The steel wool, we can see that we got steel all over this thing, so what we'll do is we'll definitely take this over to the side and blow it off so that we're not blowing the steel all over the table too. And then we'll put another light coat on it. So listen, this is our 3rd day of doing poly. We already taped the original video, so I'm going to edit this into our 2nd video for this. But we're going to repeat this stuff over and over and over every day that we're in here. So it's dry, we come in, we steel wool, we double check, we feel it, triple check. Everything's good, put a nice light coat of poly on it. All right, let it dry, repeat. All right, repeat, repeat, repeat. And we'll be in pretty good shape. So as soon as this thing's all the way done being polyurethane, the next video that we'll do on this will be the paste waxing of it. And after we paste wax it, the only thing that's left to do is put our mirror in and put our 2 little, on the top inside, we're gonna put 2 little hangers. And then you can finally take this home and hang it up and it'll be in great shape. So that's all there is to it. Rinse and repeat, basically.